are you? How are you today?
Running around like a crazy person.
But other than that, how's everything?
Running around like a crazy person. Whatever you want to conclude.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's another day, and tomorrow's our favorite day because tomorrow we have our Friday Anything Goes improv. I'm really enjoying those Fridays, without a doubt. So
I think we need to get Lynn out of her shell a little bit more because she has a pattern. When it gets a little too close for comfort, she wants to move on to the next topic. So that's not how improv works. Improv doesn't work that way. And be in the heat sometimes.
Well, I'm getting used to the improvs. I mean,
no, hold on a second. The whole process, yes, but the sensitive matters, no. Because it's like, oh, let's move on, and it's like, well, that was pretty quick.
Oh, well, paybacks can be a you know what, so watch out.
It's not a payback. It's just an observation.
Yeah, just an observation.
It is. It's true. It either is true or not.
Yeah. Okay. It is.
I mean, I could bring up highlight reels of like, oh, when Lynn laughs a little too much, or when she has a look on her face, it's like, oh, let's move on. Let's move on. We can't stay right here and talk about this anymore.
Hi, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Hi,
We're just having a little pickle right now.
Yeah.
Tammy's here.
He's put me here in a little pickle. Yeah, well, you had me in stitches yesterday. You had my mind in the gutter yesterday. You had me.
Is that somewhere that you don't go very often, or what? Is that something new? What?
It's been a while, Brian. What can I say?
That your mind has been in the gutter? That's
yeah.
Okay, so everybody that is on, we're going to take a little poll. Okay, everybody that's watching right now, if you think that yesterday by Lynn's mind being in the gutter was an exception, press 1 or type in 1. If you think it's normal for Lynn's mind to normally be in the gutter, put 2 in the comments, and we'll see.
Hi, Scott Ricard.
Scott Ricard from Florida.
Oh my gosh! Oh, Scott's in Florida. I didn't know that.
He's in Florida. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'll have to find out where in Florida.
He works for the Boeing company.
Okay.
He's worked there for like almost 19 years, I think it was, because he was on a broadcast where somebody was interviewed, and he's worked there for a long time.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't realize that. Actually, I just looked at where he's at, and I've never heard of Nevers, or however you say that spot. So yeah,
he's just in alligator country. That's all I know.
Oh yeah, man. Alligators scare the heck out of me. That's all I gotta say.
As long as I got ammo in my gun or a knife on my pocket, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, don't. I don't mess with Mother Nature. That's for sure.
Well, an alligator's not Mother Nature. So.
No, but I mean, they live in Mother Nature. Like, you can't.
They're
I know, but I mean, like, they're God's creatures, so I don't mess with them.
Well, so are we. So I would rather take me over an alligator,
Yeah, that's. Oh, and then there's Scott.
Oh, Jones. Yeah. As I was commenting on everybody yesterday, Scott now has a new name from now until well in the future. It's Mr. Lip Lock, not Lip Lock. Mr. Lip Lock. We were corrected yesterday.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We got 2 Scotts here. I wonder if Scott Goyette's
I'm just showing respect for Lip Lock.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Tammy says, oh my God, I was in Florida. You want to go ahead and read that?
Go ahead.
Oh, she goes, oh my gosh, yes. Years ago, I was in Florida, and a person I was with pulled the car over to the side of the road. When he saw an alligator, he got out and went running after it. What? Yep. That's crazy, man. I hope he remembers whatever he thought he saw at one of those alligator catchers do or whatever. Probably trying to see if he can rally one up or something. Hey, Larry.
What's up, Larry?
Oh man. She goes, I was like, if something happens to him, I'm screwed because at that time I couldn't drive a stick shift. You would have learned really fast. You can't find him, grind him. And we're talking about the stick shift, automatic. Never mind.
Don't go there unless you want to be called out, man. Do not go there. You can teeter around it eventually, but whatever. Don't do that.
Yeah. Okay,
like my mom always said, if you play with fire, you're gonna get burned.
Yeah. Okay. Why is everybody coming up with these twos? What's up with these twos?
They know that it's a bunch of BS. That you normally think dirty first. That's what it is. So let's just capture, but that the reason why, if you're just catching on to the show, all of our loyal listeners or anybody catching the replay, the reason why, because I put out a poll. Number one, if you think that it is rare for Lynn to not think dirty, okay? Number two is if you think that Lynn is driven by thinking dirty, put 2 in the comments. That's what the poll is for. And look at her face. If she was wearing red, it would match, but black, it offers a little difference. Just saying.
So, all right, you guys. Oh my gosh.
Everybody's got a lot to share here.
I was like avoiding the topic till I saw these twos, and I'm like, oh shoot. And wait a second, Mr. Liplock got into that with the 2 too. What the heck? I'm screwed.
Well, what do you think? You didn't bribe him. He's going to speak honestly. Come on now.
Oh my gosh, I'm dying laughing.
I mean, just because you spend a lot of your younger years doesn't mean that he doesn't know who you are.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so help.
Don't ask for what you don't want.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, shut up. Okay. We're 7 minutes into this thing. We gotta get on topic, don't we?
Why start now? It's almost Friday.
I know. Friday, yay. Anyhow, so welcome everybody to the show. And we've been talking about simplicity all week. And I love the fact that at the, every show we're laughing, we're making it simple, goofy, raw and real. And it's just, that's how life should be, is simple. I mean, we spend too much time in the drama zone and we wonder why we live there. And it's just really sad to me to see so many of my friends going through so many things, and they don't need to go through that stuff. They let it go and move on. So it's Friday for me. I'm off tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, and Jerry's in the house.
Oh yeah, big hole. Look at the twos. Look at the twos in the comments.
Yeah. Anyways, yes, Tammy, I'm all for the keep it simple, silly, or stupid, whichever you prefer to call it. I keep it simple, silly is what I would say. But yeah, seriously, it really is nice that we can have laughter and keep it lighthearted. And I was talking to somebody that I kind of coach and is a friend of mine, and they were holding a grudge for like 10 years. And I said, you're doing a disservice to yourself. I mean, keeping it simple. When you've been away from somebody for 10 years and yeah, the experiences weren't good, but then you also had very good, endearing relationship with this person, you're going to hold something back from 10 years ago. And it wasn't even as bad as what she thinks, but it really is a bummer. What does he say here? Epic center of the great gas.
In the epicenter of great gas pump panic 2020.
Yeah.
Helping people with drug addiction is easy compared to helping people let go of drama. Some people feed on it. Yep.
Yeah, Scott. And that's just it. I mean, she knows I come from a place of love, but I seriously said, listen, if I can forgive somebody who drug me behind a vehicle and kidnapped my daughter, and if I can forgive and let go of somebody that did wrong by my daughter and threatened my life, I don't see where other people should let let petty conversations hold things back. I mean, I'm saying 10 years out. Come on now. I mean, like,
but you're not them.
No, I'm not them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is keeping it
how I'm
simple
perceiving it though.
No, but let me finish.
Okay.
What the thing is if they don't forgive or let go of that, it has a hold on them, and they don't realize what they're bringing to their life because they're not letting go of that. They're just hurting themselves, and they should let it go for their health, for their well-being, and don't let it eat you up, because it will.
So what suggestions did you give that person of how to do that?
Suggestions. Hold on a second. And I'm not changing the subject here, but I want to say hi to Pitter as well. Sure. The suggestions were to think of all the good memories, and you have an opportunity right now with this person, because this person's being vulnerable to them right now and said very kind words to them. And I said, you know what? Them giving you the compliment that you were a good woman, and and I appreciate you and stuff like that. I said, you know what? From 10 years ago to now, I said, wouldn't it be just nice? I said, you're in a safe place. You got your own place. You don't need to worry about any of that. I said, but just talking to them where they're going through a situation themselves. I said, just have the conversations and find peace with that, with the past, right. And obviously, you care about them and they care about you, and she's in a great opportunity to resolve or to let go of anything from the past to make it better, and to hold on the good memories and let go of the bad. And so, it really is one of those things where not too many of us get the opportunity to revisit a conversation with somebody and try to make peace with it one way or another. And I said, just let go of those feelings and see where you go with it. I mean, she has a great opportunity. So she's taking the steps, which I'm glad.
If I were to hear that, I would get upset. If I were to hear that of somebody coaching me.
Hi, Jamie.
Because that's very conceptual, right? Like, obviously I wasn't there and I'm not dealing with the baggage of somebody, hey, Jamie, thanks for being here. But I would get upset if I heard that.
Well,
that doesn't give me clarity. That doesn't make me feel that person's on my side.
Right.
If they were to say that to me, that would upset me.
Yeah. Well, we had more in-depth conversations, so I don't want to continue to talk about it. But the point is she realized that what she's holding against him is very petty, and she realizes that. Right. And because of that, I said, but you have a good opportunity that if it wasn't as devastating to you, and you realize that, then you got to let it go. I mean, she has can tell she has a lot of feeling in this situation. And she says it can, like, she feels bad that she's held this against him, and he doesn't even know half of it. So it's very complex with it. But the point is that she's in a safe zone to speak her mind, and that she has that opportunity. We don't ever get that opportunity. So I said, take the opportunity to say how you feel, and then let it go.
Well, I think that the opportunity is always there. It's just a matter of if we perceive it's there or not.
Right. Well, right now Well, and right now she realizes that she just needs to. She's in a great place where she doesn't need this person in their life, which is always a great place, because you're better off to talk to this person and clear the air now than to think later they're going to be in your life and you're going to be in a vulnerable state. So, it's a very good safe zone for the communications. And I said, that's a window of opportunity you don't want to miss out.
Right.
Is keeping it simple and safe. So, like I said, it was a very extensive, but I was just giving you the digestive version of it. And so, but anyways, but just keeping it simple. Like I said, when you have somebody in your past that you've had qualms or anything with, keeping it simple. If you can, if there's a mutual ground or conversation, and this has become a past because the person's sibling, which is a twin, passed away, and she cares, and she knows that anybody in her past she would care about. So she's being the same caring person. And so keeping it simple and keeping it safe, and knowing that she's safe in speaking her truth and her empowering her. That's what I encourage her, is feel like, maybe you didn't feel comfortable 10 years ago saying what you want to say, but you have that window of opportunity now to say it in a safe place.
Well,
So
I'm going to go back to a question that I posed the other day. It's like, it's what's missing, right?
yeah,
When you pose it that way, it's like, okay, what's the easiest way to resolve this? What's the easiest and simple way? It's not letting it go for years, right? It's all whatever you don't put behind you in your past is going to reemerge in
right.
your
And
life.
that's exactly what I was telling her. I said, this is going to persist and you're
Yep.
just going to, and so you're in a safe place right now. But, and the thing is she's of the mindset that he probably hasn't changed in 10 years. I said, we all change.
What should
We
that
all
matter,
have,
though? What should that
what's
matter?
that?
You know, what should that matter if he's changed in 10 years? You're not doing it for him. You're doing it for yourself.
Exactly. So I said, so when you have a trigger, ask yourself, why is this triggering me? Because I'm safe. I'm okay. I don't need to deal with this person at the end of the day if I don't want to. I'm like, so why not visit it with a new light and a new angle and see, if it's just a trigger of something else. So
Correct.
I told her, I said, yeah, it's going to continue. And if she doesn't resolve this in this problem, this relationship, she's going to find it in another relationship because it's the lessons she's not learning. So anyways, and keeping it simple, it's just keeping things simple. And yeah, we shouldn't be around people that trigger us or treat us wrong or anything like that.
Let's be clear with everybody, because I can see, from my point of view, is that simplicity is not a concept. If you stop at simplicity as a concept and just a word or whatever, without the actions behind it and what it takes to make it simple, we have done you a disservice for this whole week, right?
Yeah.
It's like, to get it to simple is removing the fat, trimming everything else out besides, hey, Sandy, thanks for being here. There's our special
We'll see you
guest for
tomorrow.
tonight. Yeah. I hopefully that she shows up and opens up her camera with her green glasses on. That'd be cool.
I know.
But it's like, I feel the need to share this, is that simplicity is not a concept. Simplicity is a discipline. Simplicity is something that you have to do repeatedly, whatever way works for you, but you're vulnerable and transparent for that journey, right?
It's a mindset.
Correct. I mean, just to say, I'm going to be simple today, or I'm going to live a simple life. Well, let me check back with you in 2 weeks and see if your actions are in alignment with that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, it doesn't matter. I mean, there is no rule or law to what simplicity is, because you make it your own, right? You have a choice in the matter. It's a blank canvas. You create it as you wish. But just to say, I'm going to make my life simple or something like that, the actions take place in the work of it, in the hard work and the effort, in the mind space that you open up throughout the process. And
you should also keep in mind with simplicity, you have to think, okay, what's simpler for my mind to digest? What's drama? What's not? What's, and it really is a state of mind, simplicity. And what, I'm fighting and picking the battles you want to fight. I mean, to continuously try to think and expect somebody to change is the most ridiculous thing. It's not going to be that simple at all, ever, ever, ever. So that's what's sad, is like, oh, well, simple would be find the person that wants to be just what I want them to be. Well, you know what? That's not how the world works.
Simplicity is not a deflection of somebody else or an external source.
No.
Simplicity is being in touch with your own mind and what it takes for you to deem simplicity, like a definition or a manifesto that you create for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Simple living is this, ... right? Now, it doesn't even have to go that far, but the deflection of whatever, once I do this, then it'll be simple, whatever. No. Be, do, and have versus have, do, and be. If you're being simple, then you do, then you have. But it's a mindset first, because you can always rely on it, because it's so, just like studying or anything you immerse yourself in, you eventually want it to get to your subconscious state where you think about it without thinking, right? It becomes second nature. Whatever those tools or however you approach simplicity is entirely your own to create, which should be exciting, because this up here, our brain should be used for a heck of a lot more than cycling the drain with things that there's no new results. right? Things of our past don't have any new outcome. It's just that if we look at it again and again and again, we're thinking that we get a dopamine hit when we think that there might be a different result or it might look different. But then we're sad when it doesn't. Totally agree with you both on simplicity and simply is choosing to be flexible. Yeah. I mean, who would not want to have more of this up here to create or to be adventurous versus like the doom and gloom of old news, right? It's like bringing out like literally like bringing out newspapers of the past of things that you know, oh wow, JFK died. Whoa, right? Ronald Reagan's no longer our president, right? Well, that's not going to help us, you know? So you're bringing, like, just envision a series of newspapers that are about your past and you keep reading them over, right? Not making your life any simpler.
I muted myself. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's just say like building a bookshelf per se, where somebody would be like, oh my gosh, you know, they had bad experience because they didn't have all the parts and getting it in there. And the other person's like thinking of the old way of, you know, instructions and missing parts. And then the other person's like, let's be adventurous and let's see if we can put this together. And here you are, like, what's simple is you're sitting there with all these thoughts of, oh no, I can't do this. It takes two people and all these things. Well, why don't you take the steps to make the bookshelf and see what happens?
Right.
You know, and so it's as simple as maybe reading the directions, checking the parts first, because if it says it needs 10 parts and you have 8, then I'd worry or be concerned or whatever. But when you follow the simple instructions and there's 8 parts and you've got 8 parts, then don't sit there and procrastinate. Just realize it's going to be as simple as you allow it to be or as complex.
Right.
You know, it's a state of mind.
From my point of view, I would even ask yourself, if I were to look at that, it's like, okay, I don't know how long this process is going to take, right? Am I in the frame of mind to actually deal with this, right? If I really don't like instructions and I'll just figure it out as I go, right? Am I in a mental space of doing this right now? Number 2, do I have the time to do this? Because if you get going on something, you get frustrated because you didn't read the instructions and did all the things that you should have did. What if there's not enough pieces? Not only did you not get anything done, but you're going to be upset about it, you know?
Right.
So I think that before you take on something, do I have the time to do this? Like, literally, you know, can I carve out 45 minutes and if it doesn't take that long, great, I can do something else.
Yeah.
Am I in the frame of mind to do this? Like, you know, I don't know, writing a paper, writing an article. If you're not in the mindset, it's not going to be any easier on yourself.
Yeah. A recipe helps.
Absolutely. Like in the morning, you know, I'm a creative in the morning, right? Near 3 or 4 in the afternoon is when I tail that off a little bit. So I better use that opportunity throughout the day up until the later part of the afternoon to get all my creative juices out on paper, you know, and whatever way works for you is great, but you're not helping yourself when you're out of your creative space and you want to do something that's what it takes. You know, if you're not in a great mood or a great mindset to do this project that you might not know if you understand the instructions, if they're written in English or whatever, you might not have anything to show for your time and be upset about it on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's just like if you have clutter around your house. I mean, that's just, well, some people like clutter, so that's fine. And I'm not holding that against them. But, you know, again, for me, less clutter makes me feel better, or, you know, putting my things away or whatever. And I can tell the difference when I don't. It's like, man, this does not feel good. I can't fix things till I do, you know. So, I mean, we've got all our different synchronicities that we follow and that make life simpler for us, you know, in our mind, state of mind. So
yeah, the simplicity, depending on where you come from, the reason why we're talking about this today is because, you know, we talked about it personally, we talked about it in business, friendships, relationships, is that it stays with you. However you were raised, your development, you know, the environments you were in throughout life, I mean, all of that is working for you or against you. Now, it's not a bad thing if it's working against you. It just means you might need to do something more, right? You might need to hone in on it. You might need, have to remove all distractions, or whatever the time when you're on, whenever that is, you allow nothing to get in your space, right?
Right.
Because you're not going to be able to work on something that you might be lacking in if your guns aren't blazing, right? If
Right.
you're not feeling up for it wherever it may take you, because it should feel like an adventure. It should feel like something that's fun, that it's like, wow, I'm getting a lot of access here. I got no distractions. The kids are playing, whatever it might be, whatever your world looks like. But if you don't make a concerted effort and commit to it, because I know that's in parentheses, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't get fluid at speaking a foreign language or whatever you want to be good at by not doing it very often. You do it by doing it all the time, repeatedly.
Right. It's just like people that don't like computers, but they're like, I want to send an email. I want to do this and that. Well, you got to be in the right mind to absorb. You can't be in that mindset of, I don't want to learn this right now, because you won't learn. I mean, if you're not open to whatever you're doing, then like you said, you're wasting your time and there's no point in doing it at all.
I mean, I don't want to, you talked about the person that came over and it's like, oh, I don't do Facebook or whatever. The person that you might have wanted to give money to for a project. It's like, let's use that for a quick example, right? Is that their view about social media, it's a waste of time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's a view to have. How's it working out for you?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. There is no way that I want to reach thousands of people possibly at any given time. How ridiculous does that sound, right? I could share ideas when I'm on site at a job site about, hey, I'm at so-and-so's house, here's what we're doing, right? Like,
yeah.
How would I'm sorry, but a newsflash, the Yellow Pages doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said, he could have really resolved it by, the fact that he said it was useless. And then he's telling me, oh, but my wife owns this business. We're 60% owned by women and it's a roofing company. I'm like, that's great. Does she get on Facebook all the time?
So let's just take, now we don't know anything more than what this person shared and I wasn't there or whatever, but like just by the person, how that person showed up, when we take simplicity, their view is by doing it the old way, a way of the past, right? That it's easier to do the grind about, I don't even know how this person markets themselves, but it's like, let's just take that person's view. I don't do Facebook, I don't do social media, and strip it apart a little bit, right? They're beating themselves up over a way that could be a lot more simple, a lot more easier, but they're going to have to confront that there is something new out there, that they have to look at it differently, or that the customers are not, they may be down the street and they may, but they're not going to have a billboard outside their house that says, come sell to me.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of business owners that went belly up because they didn't want to do social media. And truly, that was sad commentary, but it really was the gist of what happened to a lot of companies. And yet, for anybody that still wasn't online doing business when COVID came, they got the reality of check that, I had spoken to them, you need to be online. No, I'm really busy, Lynn. I don't have time for this. Okay. So how you doing now? Well, I don't know how to tell people I'm open. I don't know how to tell people this or that. I don't know how to keep them going. And it's just like, do you realize, without lack of communication to your customers, out of sight, out of mind? And
how's that pipeline looking in 6 months,
Yeah. Exactly. And so, and the ones that thrive are the ones that were being vulnerable with their customers and saying, yeah, we're closed right now, or we had an employee ill, or this is what's going on and this is how we're helping. So, I mean, it's very important to, it's simpler to be more authentic with the people that you're dealing with than it is to be like, back in the days, oh, we can't tell them that we have an employee sick, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. Well, you're doing yourself an injustice by not being vulnerable and transparent. That's for sure.
Let's look at it this way. You just gave me an idea. you know how, I mean, obviously we've been trained through, through the training and the group that we're a part of. But like, let's look at it in terms of like shooting videos versus sending emails, like written, typing emails, right?
Yeah.
Like let's take that apart a little bit. It's like, okay, obviously our programming is email first. I mean, without thinking about it, because it's second nature to us, right? But is it effective? Are we showing up differently to people that we're sending messages to, right? Are we honing our skills in different ways? And so, but here's the thing, and I'm going at it very granularly with you from a standpoint of effectiveness. Our words and phrases and cadence being lost in punctuation, being lost through words and instead of seeing a face and all of that. And so simplicity, right? People that complain about appearing different, like they had a certain perception that they wanted to convey with the written word that they typed in, right? Somebody perceives it the wrong way. Are
Right.
we really simple because I'm going to fire off another email and get into this, like I'm going to hit the ball on your side of the tennis court and then I'm waiting for you to volley back. Eventually, things are going to get lost in translation, just like the
Absolutely.
styrofoam cup and the strings, right? Now, would it be easier to shoot somebody a 25-second video? I'm just making up a time frame to say who you are, hone your skills for video, and get right to one point of a message instead of trying to divulge who knows how much information to confuse them, and then that's why they don't respond.
Yeah.
Now,
Video.
now let me just go a little further. Sorry to cut you off,
Oh, it's okay.
but let's go a little further. Well, I got to open up my camera. I'm a little fearful about video. I don't like how I sound. I don't like. Okay, hit record again. Hit record again. Right. The only way you're going to overcome it is by not moving away from it. It's by leaning into it, doing it more. And if you're, it can be simple. You open up your camera, but just like walking every day. And I know my mind is all over today, but it's like until that 52nd to 54th day when I was walking 2 to 4 miles every day, I wavered in my brain about when I wanted to do it. I don't want to do it today, whatever. But then eventually it came something I did every day, and it's like almost 500 days, So simple is a practice. Simple is something that in order to get there, you have to train your mind that that's what you do without question. That whenever you respond to somebody any more than maybe like a text kind of message, we're just confirming something or whatever, open up the video camera. Open up the video camera. Make it simple on yourself. But in order to get it simple, you have to go through the muck of what's working, what's not, how am I going to show up different, and that's just in a video situation, like business, but it just spoke to me to share that because it's like, well, this person's perceiving this and here's what I meant and all of that. I'm like, okay, so you send another email. Well, wait a minute. You're already confusing this person. So why would you want to make it more confusing? Draw from that and do something different.
Well, it's just like my daughter's names are all spelt very different. Okay. So when I use the voice text, it'll just spell their name wrong. And it's like, and then I'm like, I'm not going to go fix that. It's an important message. They'll just have to figure out that I used voice. It was just simpler to get the message out by instead of saying, I can't type right now, but I got to get this out,
Correct.
So it was the simplest thing to do. And yet, what am I going to do if I fall down the stairs or something? Am I going to worry about, typing her thing or find the simple thing? Just hit the record voice and send,
Right.
you got to be able to, plan A is always great, but having a plan B or getting different ways to get something done that's simpler, whether it's not your choice. I mean, you really have to be open-minded and really look at what's conducive for the situation and be flexible. Like you and I talked off camera really quick about my trip and the gas and whatever. I said, I'm planning to go. Who knows whatever happens, but I'm not allowing the fact of something like that to stop me saying, oh, now I can't plan. I can't whatever. I mean, like worrying or thinking something's not going to be simpler or what states to skip, for gas or whatever, just throwing that out there. I'm just saying it's simple not to worry about that situation till maybe the day before I leave.
Well, I mean, let's take that example. But before I do that, I want to share a statement that'll serve everybody well. It's been grounded into me and beaten into me by a mentor that both of us know, and I've met him several times. I mean, he helped change my life. He helped save my life. And he says, and I'm paraphrasing, so whatever business or line of work you're in, just insert that in there. Be willing to do the work it takes in whatever you do to make what you do easy, right? So
absolutely,
whatever it is, streamline the process so that you can get right to the nitty gritty. If you're in business and you're gonna meet with somebody, send them the materials in advance the day before that they can review. So when you show up, you can get right to it, right? You don't sit there and be like, oh, so let me tell you about me. Well, what did you do a couple days in advance? So because there's obviously a reason why they're investing their time with you. Why would you waste it having this preamble?
Yeah.
This doesn't help them any. You already got through the door. You already made it through the first step of the situation. Now, what are you doing while you're there? So whatever you're doing, streamline the process, for yourself, right? To make what you do easier. Doesn't mean that you don't have to deliver. It just means that you can isolate and really hone in and immerse yourselves on the things that really is what it takes. Your performance, your talent, and they outcomes you deliver for your customers.
Absolutely. I mean, every chance I get, I'm always trying to prep up for whatever situation or whatever. And it just makes my life easier. And mind you, you've caught me where I said, hey, I'll try to get this image done in an hour or something. And I do in 5 minutes. But you got to set yourself up to succeed, not to fail, and so yeah.
And let's be clear, everyone, simplicity is not rocket science. It's a daily practice. Like, I'll give you an example, and it was prompted by what Lynn said a couple minutes ago, right? Like, let's say you're tired and you need to gas up your car. And this is just a simple example I'm sure all of us witnessed, right? We're tired and we just want to go home, but we know that we're going to be upset if we don't gas up our car, right? Like tomorrow where we have to go somewhere. So it's like that little stop. Would you rather do it right now, or would you rather do it at the mercy of getting better sleep or whatever it is, and then having to do it in the morning, which you're already going to be upset?
Yeah.
Simplicity. A lot of it is right in front of our minds, but what is this conditioned to do?
Yeah.
We're driven by that, right? Every fiber of you is like, man, just get home, you'll do it tomorrow. But then when tomorrow comes, you're upset that you waited.
Yeah.
You want to make it simple on yourself.
No, yeah, I don't like to do that. I definitely don't like to wait to be in a crunch time, because I always love giving myself as much, wiggle room as I can, because I like to wiggle. What can I say?
Oh my God, that's a word right there. I like to wiggle. Hey, can somebody hashtag that, please? I like to wiggle. Lynn likes to wiggle, everyone.
Yeah, I'm known when music is on, and I'm just like, mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go any further. We got Sugar Mama, Sugar Daddies, and I like to wiggle. Yeah.
Oh, and Sandy's here, so she's listening. I'm really excited that Sandy's going to be here tomorrow with us. And yeah.
So Sandy, you can guarantee. I mean, I know that we're giving you a lot. There it is, Ray. There it is. Very well done. Sandy, we've been giving you, you've been so generous with your time this week that a lot of the words and phrases you're already going to know. So it's there she is right in the center.
Yes.
That's our special guest tomorrow for Friday's improv style show. Is that she's been, I think, on every day this week. So we're grateful for that. And she's got a head start in the words and phrases that are coming tomorrow.
Yeah. So. I don't think we've had anybody watch every day the week that they're going to watch. So she's,
Oh my God.
I know. She'll probably say, and that day when you guys were talking about, like, yeah.
Oh, that was like 4 weeks before you were on. Like, you were really studying this,
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're looking forward to that. And so, and then next week we'll have Mr. Liplock on there.
Mr. Liplock in the house.
Oh my gosh.
He's also from Florida too. He's in
Florida. And I'm also looking forward to our topic next week. It should be very interesting.
Well, look at her. Woo, woo.
I will be wearing red all next week. I could just see it now. I'm going to get my wardrobe ready.
That's code, everyone, for watch us all next week and see Lynn blush like crazy, like a tomato. Next week. Yeah.
I might have to I might have to change it to that.
No.
just to blend in.
I'm glad we don't have any sponsors for this show. It's low budget as it is. I love it. Hey, where's our banner on the top? Where is that? I don't see that.
Oh, wait. Okay. I'm sorry. There we go.
We're getting a little out of
there
hand.
To that.
See, Lynn's already getting flustered, and it's not for a few days yet. Mr. Liplock, look at what you do to my co-host. Look what you do to her.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, see right there, that's classic right there, everyone, is that when it gets a little heated or when Lynn feels a little, I don't know, she wants to move on right away instead of basking in that vulnerability.
Hey, stop. I wrote a book.
It's a see-through book with your...
Yeah, it's a see-through. Yeah, you can see right through me.
It's like a piece of glass, Your book's a piece of glass. It's reflective.
Yeah, I should try to stick my hand through it, right?
Oh,
yeah, that didn't work.
We don't have
the trees.
We don't have the Matrix budget to do that. Like Nero.
Oh my gosh!
Look at her cheeks. Oh my, yep, absolutely. Yep. See, what's deceiving, Ray, is that she's wearing black, so it offsets it. But if she was wearing red, it would just like lean right into it.
Yeah. Well.
But anyhow, yeah. Again, we went off the rails, but that's kind of expected for us every day.
Yes, and we love that.
Yes,
we like to just keep it rolling.
I just, I come from a place of very logical and creative, and I'm an idea generation person. I love ideas, and I'll write ideas. When I get in the flow state, which my improv class is really bringing out how rare the flow state of mind is, and how precious it is that you really, especially with all the distractions and noise of the world, is that you really have to, whatever combination works for you, but to get in a space of flow, in simplicity, you really have to make it your own. And it has to be a non-negotiation type of thing, right? This is not negotiable. This is my time. And so I think that, I'm just going through my final pieces of paper, because I would collect like Post-it notes and all these different things. And then that'd be my idea generation. Simplicity to me is actually putting it in one notebook, right? Or in one document where everything I want to do, or ideas for books or ideas for guides, digital guides, it's all in one spot. So simplicity for me has never, it's never been simple, but I'm learning at it, and I'm going through the complexity to be like, wow, everything is right here. But getting in the habit of anytime I have an idea or a thought for something, I put it in that document. I can find it. I know where it is. I might just have to look for it. And so wherever you are coming at simplicity from, there is work that can be done, and you can find that groove in what works for you, whether it's digital or print or whatever, to reach simplicity in your life.
Well, I went ahead and got an app. It's a Zero app for intermittent fasting. And it's like, it's even helped me, because usually I'll look at the time and I'll leave my window open for 1 or 2 hours to eat or something. And I've been doing faster, or used to do 16 hours, but I'm now up to 20 hours of fasting at a time. Wow. And now I got this app, and it's like so freaking cool, because now I'm like, there's times that I'm like, I want a snack, and I'm like, look at your time frame. If you stop this, and then it just shows, it's just like, so I made my life simpler, more accountable, because now I can stare at that and go, look, you've got 18 hours. You only got 2 more hours. Right. And I've been over, it's just something to keep me more accountable and to make things simpler. Because sometimes I notice I close my window of eating, and I'm like, shit, what hour was that? And I'll go, maybe it was, I'll look at the time and go, oh, it's 6 o'clock now. I'll just say 6 o'clock, and then I won't eat till 11 tomorrow. And, I do the math, but it's funny because now I just have to hit the start, and then I look and I go, wow, I'm in a, fat burning stage and all this stuff. And it's just, whatever makes your life simpler without when you can make your mind be mindless because it's just flows for you, then it really makes, when you take time to make those new habits, whether putting your keys in the same place or going here at a certain time, or your routine, and you realize, this isn't working for my routine, and then you just evaluate yourself. Well, what do I do? What, let me you know without the data, you can't do anything, right? So if you just go ahead and record yourself of, well, this is the habit of when I eat, this is the habit of when I do this or do that. I mean, it's kind of nice to just watch what your natural rhythm is, so that you can go from your natural rhythm to a part where you're like, man, this is just, it's flowing. Just like you said, it's flowing the way you want it to. It's not easy to build those habits, but when you do, it definitely allows you to spend more time in other areas and other times, and it really is nice. It's just like, decluttering a room or something, it's got to be a mess before you pick up a mess or whatever.
Well, and here's a question for everybody just to consider, for yourselves and whatever comes to mind, but run with it, if you will. What's the price of simplicity? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What's the surprise? Like whatever it is that will simplify your life, is it worth that investment in time, money, whatever? Right? A dear friend of mine is in Illinois. He's got 5 kids. He works full time. Plus, he has his business. Right? What's the price it takes for me to remove stress from my life? Now, I know that we're talking about simplicity this week, but obviously, stress is a part of life, right? And when people look at it from that point of view, or at least the way I look at it, is you'll give any amount of money to make your life simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you frame it that way, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
usually doesn't take much money, whether it's an app on your phone or whether it's giving yourself a weekend to go through all your stuff or declutter or whatever, wherever you feel like you need improvement on the simplicity of your life, right? Are you willing to
Right.
do that to have it forever? If you're in business, how about investing or getting somebody to set up your CRM? Is it worth that investment to not have to do it by yourself?
Right.
Where you can invest your zone of genius on things that make you money and things that make you happy, right? I mean, now more than ever, it's like, heck, I talked about it a couple days ago. If, like, for instance, Adobe Audition, right? Can you look at videos on YouTube, or maybe somebody that does it? Sure. Okay. If you want to invest the time to do it, then you got to download software, then you got to pay the subscription fee. If that works for you, awesome. Or heck, find somebody that can do it for you, so then you can do other things.
Right.
Or maybe even there's a service out there like Fiverr or whoever, depending on what it is, can do it for you. What's the
Yeah.
price you're willing to pay for simplicity is something that I would consider asking yourself every day, because your life is at stake, your health is at stake, and your mental and physical freedom is at stake. And especially how much technology is out there. It probably costs very little money for something that could help you to make what you do easier. There he
Hi,
is,
Coach
Mr. San
Ben.
Jose.
I know what you wanted to say, Brian.
I'm not saying it. I'm waiting for him to prompt it. Not gonna happen.
Hey, let's bask in it for a minute. I get to pick on you for a moment.
But I didn't say it, though. That's the difference.
No, but I know what you wanted to say.
What I'm just trying to get at is that it's like, okay, are those excuses and worries and upsets and whatnot, the things that we tell ourselves, is that worth more than to propagate that versus spending money or doing something about it? Doesn't even have to be about money. Let's remove that from the table.
Right.
Are you willing to be in action about doing whatever it takes to get rid of this stuff or simplifying your life? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You no longer have to sit there, like if you're a digital marketer or whatever, you no longer have to sit there and manually type in every post. You can schedule that stuff well in advance.
Absolutely.
Is that worth the couple bucks every month you got to invest? It should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so many parallels depending on where you are to just make your life simple, but you're not going to see it if you're not in a frame of mind of doing it. Right.
Right. Well, it reminds me of people do their automatic payments for their bills.
Yep.
You know, people don't have to worry about it, you know, set it up, forget it, you know, and know to make sure you have the money in your account. I mean, just all those different things. I mean, everything can be an autopilot if you want it to be.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
especially if those things are reoccurring, why would you want to have to like get upset every month that it's like, you need car insurance and you want good one, you want good stuff. Why would you want to go through that mental fog, like, oh damn, here it comes out of my account again, right?
exactly.
Why would
Yeah,
you want to spend those couple minutes to go through the process when you can just hit one button and be done? Be done,
absolutely.
you know? I mean, hooray.
I can hear him too.
I can see like a Molly Hatchet bed in the background.
Yeah. Hey, his show he's been doing with the music is really good.
Good.
I've been sharing it on my show. So great job, Charles. Keep it up. So yeah, you know, I mean, it really is when you can ask yourself, can I have someone else do this, or should I be doing this, or how much time is this going to cost me from doing something else that can bring the income in to help, you know, contract somebody else. I mean,
Right.
you know, it really is the matter of, you know, where do you want to expand and learn, you know, take that up or not, or, you know, I mean, there's just so many ways to, you know, skin a cat, like they say, you know, make it simple.
I mean,
I-
I remember when I was getting started with my business back in 1992 is when it was official. It's like that's when a jack of all trades was, you had to be proficient at clip art. Believe it or not, clip art,
Yeah, I
right?
remember that. It
The
came on
graphic
CD
design.
discs. It
Oh
came
my
on CD discs.
and,
Oh,
and, and the business cards, you never got a custom business card. Vistaprint and all these services were not around.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
had the perforated business cards with a little area that you printed inside, right?
yeah, yeah,
And it's like, okay, well, you didn't know any better back in the day, but our world is entirely different. That if you want to try to be a jack of all trades, you can, but your life's going to be miserable.
yeah.
I mean, and that's not meant to be negative on anybody. There it is. Sandy, be ready for wet wood tomorrow. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Just a little, yeah. Look at Lynn. She's looking down. She's like, oh my God. So, but I knew it would happen regardless on this show. So, what I'm just trying to say is that what is your, like I mentioned I put a quote in a daily broadcast that Lynn, you tuned in a couple times, is that we don't get paid for our time, we get paid for our value. Period. It doesn't matter how long it takes to work on a project or whatever. Do they see the value in it? Is the value there, right? And what is your time worth? If your time is worth nothing, well, then try to do everything you possibly can and be lost.
And not get anywhere.
Correct.
Not get anywhere. But like, what did I accomplish today? Well, shit, I don't know. But I was doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's those are just a couple things I'd like to impart. Take them on if you wish. If not, no big deal. But what is a peaceful mind worth to you? What is less strain in your health worth to you? Right? Because all of this stuff works regardless if we see it or want to admit to it.
Right.
And instead of like sitting there for an afternoon and having some fun with a cup of coffee, or I know Charles likes green tea, and do your post, right? If you're a value provider and you want to put out some posts or some inspirational messages or what have you, an afternoon that could last however many weeks or months in the future, instead of having to do it every day because you got other stuff to do.
Right.
Is that worth $10 a month? Or I'm just making up numbers,
Yeah.
but is it worth that minimal investment?
Absolutely.
And that's just one example out of the myriad of different things.
Oh yeah. But you know, I think the more you look for the simplicity in life, the better you feel as a whole on your health. I mean, you're
Absolutely.
talking stress, anxiety, depression. I mean, just, you know, excuses. I mean, just all these different things that if you know, it's like if you're not in the mood to do something, don't do it, but do something else. I mean,
Yep.
that's the great thing about life is you can have so many choices and variety of different things. Like you know, on my Kindle I have several different books, and depending on how, if I want self-development or if I want to read business or camera or whatever, you know, it just it's just having that variety and knowing that you're keeping yourself mindful of enjoying your moments that you have.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. I think that simplicity and stress are related. You
mhm,
know, if you don't do anything about it, it's there's going to be no discovery. There's no going to be no fulfillment, right?
right.
This is not like something. Well, hey, simplicity, I got that. I got that thing. No, simplicity is moment by moment.
It's funny. I just thought of simplicity. I don't know if you would know or not, but they had the sewing patterns. They're called simplicity.
Okay.
The patterns. So yeah,
Well,
but
and here's the thing:
simplicity.
is that a simplicity is something that it might be simple to understand, which I don't think it is, because everybody's going to have a different interpretation of it. But it's like if all the technology exists and all these resources are available for us, why are we still in the space of, you know, mental health issues and, plagued by problems and all of this worry and depression and, you know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, it's the trap of and I can say this because I'm 10 years older than you, but you
Mhm.
know, maybe a little more, but that's beside the point. Just rounding
Shh,
about here. Yeah.
nobody needs to know.
Okay, thank you. But the point is that, for people that are seeing so much change from, 30 and 40 years ago and still doing the same thing that doesn't work anymore,
Right.
you feel like, the wheels are spinning and you're freaking like, what the hell's going on here? The old school is the old school, now you got to get in the right school of mind. And
Right.
so, but I think that happens to anybody in their lifetime span. I mean, because everything's always evolving, and some things don't come back, but a lot of things are new that replace the old. I mean,
Mm.
so you've got to be willing to adapt to your environment, or you're going to be swallowed up, overwhelmed, and not simplified your life.
Mhm.
I mean, like, it used to be back in the day, I'd buy 10 or 15 books and say, oh, I want to take all these on my trip. Well, now I can just put them on a Kindle and carry one thing. It's like I can still stay at the old school carrying this heavy bag that my doctor, every time he'd see me, he goes, nice bag, but you're not supposed to be carrying them. I'm like, so actually I got it coming up here soon. I got a new doctor. Hopefully he doesn't say nothing about my purse. But anyways, just kidding. But the point I'm trying to make is that you've got to either see how you can do things a different way and make your life more simpler and safer and all those things. Because I'm just at that age where I just, arthritis and things like that. You just can't keep doing, you
Mhm.
can't keep, I can't lift weights the way I used to. I mean, you just have to not conform to say, oh, this is where I'm at, I can't do nothing. You just got to find another way to do things. You should see me with a 50-pound bag of dog food. I pivot that sucker. I don't care if it takes me 10 minutes to get the freaking door in the house, but I get it
Mhm.
in. I don't ask my daughter. I've asked my son-in-law a couple times, but the point I'm trying to get is you've got to figure out a way to make things simple and not as complicated as we like to make it seem.
Correct. My
Which
final words
brings,
for today, my final words for today's show is disrupt your brain, and it's already always thinking, right? Stop overthinking. Disrupt it.
yeah.
Whatever your brain is telling you that you can or whatever, you need to do whatever it takes to disrupt your brain because you can do it. But simplicity is not something that's just going to pop out of the sky or show up on your doorstep. You
Mhm.
have to make it that way. Just like
Yeah.
creating a project or a piece of art or anything. If it's gonna be sustainable, you got to do it. It's not going to just show up.
Thank you, Ray. We
Thanks, Ray.
appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everyone that's here and that's always here. And of course, we're super excited to have Sandy tomorrow.
Mhm.
And it's Fridays are one of the days we look forward to. We look forward to Mondays for our topics. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great, you guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we will check you out tomorrow with
Tomorrow's
Sandy.
Friday. Friday.
Friday. Bye.